There's blank pages in your handouts that says where to go.
Yeah, I knew that.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'll try to be helpful. That's just an additional page for the.
Your garden's coming along nice, makes me jealous.
Yes, we're finally getting this one. Usually like we want.
Hi, lady.
So, I can work with
How
each
you doing today?
now. Yeah, the babies are really good, like the bugs.
Yeah.
The babies.
Something eating little holes and leaves and everything, things I've never had problems for. He's got a double career. Never had any
Oh,
problems.
it's too early to tell. I'll have my people get back to you on
Where
that.
are we?
So far, so good.
I wondered what happened.
Very well, very well.
I was on Pilgrim.
No, that was exciting. Well, that makes the day go by. That was where we had gas control. That's why I'm getting grumpier. Christmas is coming, I'll practice. Yes, sir. Showtime. How are you? Listen. Yeah, right. I think about it.
Oh, we were away. Oh, there's a map. Yeah, we had told everybody to be out.
Oh, yeah?
Moving up in the world. One of the ones that the tomatoes called part of the deal. And the big seeds in it.
Oh, okay.
Now it's kind of too late to try and start again. I see them.
Yeah.
This one,
Now, what is it, just potentially?
no, I'm not gonna keep it. I stuck some seeds in there just in hopes of if I can get one, and so I can harvest the seeds out of the tomato.
Mhm.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, that's it.
See.
Good evening.
Gotta quit. You're working to the bone. What's going on?
All right, can we please stand for the pledge of allegiance, please? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Barlow? Here. Mr. Keihold?
Here.
Mr. Love?
Here.
All right, we have the bid opening first, and there's the got, this is for the full depth reclamation of Bullfrog Road for the 2,400 square feet of Bullfrog Road.
One in the left.
What's that?
Oh,
Okay, that's fine.
You're good.
Sorry about that, I didn't realize they made this thing of wrapping up Christmas presents. Whoa, damn it. Yeah, this is for the full depth. Apparently, we've only got one bid in, and it's from, yeah, so it's one bid, it came in for Bullfrog Road, from New Enterprise. Okay, all right, the bid for the total reclamation of Bullfrog Road, for the 2,400 square feet, with 19 millimeter 3-inch overlay, this came out to $172,098, for that job. Any, comments from the supervisors?
That's pretty much what we thought.
Any comments? Yeah, the price was $202,000 before that was originally given. So I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the bid of $172,098, for, the project on Bullfrog Road. This is gonna be, this full depth reclamation, 22 feet wide, 8 inches in depth. We'll be using Portland cement type 1L at 45 pounds per square foot, or square yard. As a stabilizer, the township will be responsible for the technical testing and providing the report. Contractor to stake out center lines in roadway and maintain marking at 50-foot intervals with a 25 marking curve. Contractor is furnishing and placing 19 millimeters of asphalt at 3 inches in depth, 20 foot wide, per roadway. So I'll make a motion to accept the bid for $172,098. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion is passed. And then we award the bid to New Enterprise. The bid for the bridge repair work on Old Ways, well, no one bid on the road. I called the contractors that we sent the bid packet out to today, and it got misplaced within their inner office materials that they did not bid. So if we wish at a later date, we can rebid this project, but at this time I'm declining the bid of the road project for Old Ways. That's a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next thing we have on here is public comments. Do I have any public comments tonight?
I'd like to bring up the issue on the Risk Trail.
Okay?
I want to revisit that, the whole situation, why you're demanding so much work being done on the trail.
Did you come into our meeting?
Yes, I did.
Did you come in the meeting?
Yeah.
Well, if you came into the meetings that we set up with the residents of Risk Trail, you had an opportunity to talk to the zoning officer that is in charge of the enforcement, and also KPI, which is in charge of the stormwater management for Liberty Township. The board passed, approved a motion and passed a motion to turn this particular project over to them to handle, and the board is not handling it at all. So it's in their hands to handle. That's where we are with the stormwater issues on this trail.
Was there a notification mailed to the property owners that it was going to be turned over?
It was done in a public meeting back, 4 months ago, 5 months ago, when the violation initially went out, it went out because the township, supervisors, determined that this is not something that they could handle, that our enforcement officer, our enforcement officer is actually the one that sent the violations. And then
I can understand that.
and then KPI, the engineer, is the ones that oversee the stormwater management.
But how are we supposed to respond if we don't know?
The letters were sent out.
No, they weren't.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
No, there were
None of
never
us.
any letter that was sent out that KPI is not handling and that the board is not.
It was when he went out with the violation letters.
But that's not what was communicated to us in the meetings.
Well, in the meetings we came, if you came into the meetings, you were given prints of what the board had approved for KPI and for TMCA to enforce. So that's what they're enforcing. What you were given, if you came into the meeting in May, that's what the township is standing behind, is those plans. And if you have any other questions, you need to direct them to KPI and to Clint Millette, because they're handling those. We have a meeting coming up on June 17th. You're most certainly welcome to call in and set up another meeting time if you have any questions that you'd like answered. They will be here to answer those questions. Wendy?
We need the names of the people speaking.
Oh, sorry.
If they could give their names and their address, we would make comments.
Alan Orndorff,
Okay.
Old Frog Road. I'd just like to know what the violation actually is on the
Did
wrist
you
trail.
receive a,
Well, what I'm getting after is, I know there was some work done up there, so-called a violation. How is that any different from any work that is done on a regular township road? I see that you've done some work on Liberty Hall Road, you've done some work on Girl Scout Road. How's that any different than anything that was done on Wrist Trail?
well, those things fall within the township right of way. In the township, within the township right of way, the township has the authority over the right of ways. That's why we can do those things.
So then you don't have to follow any stormwater management plan?
We do follow, that's what we do, that's what we're doing when we're working on those roads, we are following stormwater management.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. There isn't, fail to see any difference in any work that was done on the Wrist Trail and anything that's done on a township road.
Wrist Trail is a private development, and it's required by permits to be done. And it doesn't follow, it did not follow the specifications of stormwater management for the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay?
We need the other names that were speaking.
Stephanie Peters, 855 McLaughlin Road. When are we gonna be notified that there was gonna be a meeting June 17th?
We gave a notice, the first notice was the May meeting, and there's a notice that's on, we contacted the other residents that did not, was not able to come to the May meeting. Notification that we set up a second meeting for June 17th, specifically for those ones that were not able to come to the May meeting. But if you want to come and set up, I think Hannah is taking appointments for the the June 17th meeting. You're most certainly welcome to come back in and meet in with the stormwater manager, engineer, and with the zoning enforcement officer.
So since now that, if my understanding is correct, you guys are no longer handling this overseeing.
We haven't been from the beginning. We
Okay.
turned it over to them
And
from
so
the very
things have
beginning.
not changed, and we are supposed to have another meeting on the 17th. Again, when were you going to notify us that was?
We
not-
wasn't notifying the residents that had already had a meeting, because we passed out in that meeting that you came to. We passed out what's required for your particular lot, as far as the drawings were concerned.
And how is it required under whose authority?
That, if you need legal advice on whose authority and stuff like that, then you need to seek legal advice from your own.
It's not a legal advice question.
It is. It is.
It's asking
You're
whose
asking whose
authority
authority is. It's,
to enforce
you're
it,
asking
yeah.
who the authority is. We have an authority people that are enforcing it. Our ordinances were enforced by PMCA.
So you're saying PMCA
Correct.
is the authority on this now?
Yes.
So that was the question that I wanted to answer.
Yes, they have been the whole time. They're the ones who sent out the initial violation letters.
I didn't like to see anywhere on there where it said PMCA.
Yeah, they
But I
did.
can go back and look.
You
but
can
I
look,
didn't
but
see
that's who sent them out. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Mr. Rockwell, Nadina Campbell, 7 Wrist Trail. You and Brandon from KPI came out to inspect my property to see if it was in compliance. And
Yes.
you said it would be your recommendation that it would be
If
you
you,
would raise a motion and
if you reviewed, do you have a copy of the agenda?
You're on the agenda.
You're on the agenda for tonight.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes.
Captain Campbell, 36 Strasbourg. This has nothing to do with,
Okay.
it's way back, I brought up to you how when you were fixing Bullfrog, that you guys filled in the ditch on Bullfrog by wrist. And you said you would handle it, and it
Yes.
hasn't been handled yet.
Well, the thing is, we did, go out there on numerous occasions and clean that ditch out. Just because our residents didn't have to see it during the day when we were doing it, we did do it, we have
But you said you would
documentation.
put the big rocks
We
in.
have, and the reason we haven't put the big rocks in is because now we're in, if you see the markings out along Bullfrog Road where the pipes have been cut and crossed, we're putting all new pipes in, that's all stormwater management. And once we get that all done, we'll come back down through, we'll do the ditching and then do the appropriate, stabilization of the ditches once we get them done.
Well, to that point, why isn't there a ditch under Risk Road to connect those two ditches on either side?
Again, that was, there is on the left-hand side of Risk, there's a pipe crossing right there.
On Bullfrog, but there's none
Yes,
that
on
go
Bullfrog,
under.
because that's a private road. We do not put this,
So
we do not put
why-
pipes on the private roads.
But why, when it was built as a development way back in the 60s, why wasn't that?
Well, that's a question you have to ask the developer, I'm sorry, hon, I really am sorry. We do not put pipes in anybody's driveway. And Ridge Trail is considered a driveway to a private development, which we do not install pipes on.
So if we want something like that, we have to do it ourselves.
Yes,
Really?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you look on the left-hand side of Ridge Trail coming down, there is a pipe there. Matter of fact, that pipe's getting upgraded to a bigger pipe to handle water coming down that side. On the right-hand side of Ridge Trail, when it comes down, not more than 150 feet from that turn there, there's another price crossing, which will take that water to that side and down. Yeah, so there is efficient piping there to handle it, once we get all the new, especially when we get the new upgraded pipes in. Any other questions?
So, I'm Roger Johnson, the property is at 10 Strasbourg. When this problem came up, you adopted a 20-year-old document as your standard for that road, and then engineered a plan for us 14 residents.
No, we did not engineer a plan.
The plan was engineered.
The plan was engineered in 2000.
For the road,
Three, I believe, yes.
You
And that was done by a county. The county did that.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't quite finish with all
I'm
this.
sorry, go ahead.
So when you adopted that, you stated that you should have done that 20 years ago when it first was.
Not us. Not us.
You, right there where you're sitting, and you said, we're going to adopt this, you had it posted right up there.
Mhm.
And it only,
It's on this
it
side.
only applies to Strasbourg and Rist
At this time, yes.
at this time. And you said that you're gonna have, the rest of the AA section would follow. And I'm just wondering.
No, we never said it would follow anything. We never made those.
You did. I talked to you personally.
I never said that in a meeting.
So what
It
you-
should,
so
the
what you-
development should follow, you're right.
So what you did then is you adopted an engineered plan just for us 14 residents, and not
To
the rest of
correct-
AA section.
to
So
correct
how many
the stormwater.
houses are going to be built in the future that are now
Well,
going to be deficient in stormwater
no, they're
management?
not, because what you're probably taking, what I meant was, is in the future, moving forward, if you build a house in there, you must apply to 2024 standards for stormwater management, which they will have to either apply to those standards that are already in place by county or better.
But not the road that you adopted.
We never adopted the road. We have not adopted any roads in this trail.
You adopted the standard for the road.
What we did, we approved the plans that were already presented by county.
That plan that you had up on the
Mhm.
wall was engineered by, I don't even know what the guy's name is, but it wasn't you, the words that you used in the meeting was you were going to adopt that.
We did,
And you were going to adopt that for Strasbourg and Risk
correct,
that were affected.
correct. Because right now, they're the ones in violation.
So if somebody goes over the hill on Strasbourg and builds a house, what standard are they gonna follow? What was up on the wall?
They're gonna have to do current, whatever's current in today's ordinance, which would probably be those, because our engineer told the Board of Supervisors that those plans are efficient for today's stormwater.
So when do you expect to adopt that for the rest of the A section?
No, it's already there.
That, what you had up
No,
there?
what is there now is our stormwater, we have a stormwater ordinance that supersedes that. See, the only reason we adopted that for you guys is that way you wouldn't have to go out there and hire an engineer and spend thousands and thousands of dollars to do your own plans. That's why we did that, to save you the money. We didn't have to do that. We did not have to do that. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, that's all I need from you. I don't want him to get involved in this, but that is correct. We did not have to do that. We could have said, listen, you're in violation, you have to come into current stormwater management ordinance for 2024. That means you have to go out and get engineering plans, you, the property owners, and come into compliance with state law. Instead of making you do that, those plans came to our attention. Our KPI engineer reviewed those plans and said, listen, they are efficient for today, for them to address today in the situation we have. We said, okay, we don't want our residents to spend thousands of dollars on
To do that?
I don't have how much that would cost you to do that. I have the street.
No, that was my question, because when we talked after the meeting,
Yeah.
you said that would have to be applied to the rest of the A section.
If and when they start building in there, we most certainly are going to make them comply with stormwater management plans that are in effect today. If those plans are sufficient according to the county, then that's what they're gonna do. Because unfortunately, what has happened in the past is that they were not being enforced.
Right, not enforced, not inspected, and so everybody that
And
built a
that's
house.
not something on this current board. We can't hold the bag for boards prior to us.
Right, so-
That's where we're at.
And then who does the inspection for the stormwater, KPI?
KPI, yeah.
So to get the occupancy permit, KPI would have to come in and say,
Yes,
you
which
need
is what
stormwater.
happened with Mrs. Campbell back here is, we went out, had KPI, our engineer went out and looked at her property and compared it to the plans that we had given them, and he agreed that what she has in place now, is sufficient for today. Now, that's a whole different subject matter that I'll be addressing here later on in the meeting when it comes to her particular property. But you're most certainly welcome to come to these meetings. If you want other meetings with KPI and PMCA, all you have to do is let the township know and we'll set up another meeting. Because that's kind of how it goes, is we're letting them do their thing, we're trying to stay out of it. Because we don't know nothing about this stuff.
They're paid experts.
Yeah, they're most certainly the paid experts. So that's where we're at with that particular problem. Yeah,
Carl, Water Road. I want to go back to the issue of, we're all sitting here because one guy did something. Who now, since you're not involved with this, who is going to answer the question as to the idea of violation, which we are being criticized as having violated something, and none of us did anything.
correct.
And you can't violate something if you don't do anything. So who can we now pose the question in terms of the individual who did this and caused all of this? How are they going to hold him responsible?
So
Or who do we-
as respect to you in our meeting when we, Liberty Township, cannot. We can't fine him particularly. He violated your personal property. So if you want to take action against someone trespassing, someone broke into your house and stole something, or whatever, that is a individual matter that you would have to take up legal direction on. That's why we had the chief of police here. If you wanted to file a complaint with the chief of police, you most certainly are able to do that. If you want to go into litigation against the person that violated your property, that is a legal matter that we can't be involved in.
But my question is, will the next group, is this something that we can approach them with?
Well, you know, Mr. What's your name again, Mr.
Carl.
Carl? I really can't answer how you want to handle Mr. Sanders and what he did to your property, other than if you want to file a complaint with the police department, you may certainly go that
Well,
direction.
we've all done
Not according to the chief. He has not gotten a single complaint yet.
Well,
He
that's
said
not-
he's talked to people, but no one is filing anything.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely,
not-
the chief of police,
It's not true.
Nobody
That's
that.
not
But
true at all.
we did letters.
Absolutely.
Was that before? Because I asked everybody to fill out a statement on the
Right,
paper.
when
Years
the
ago.
things popped open, and
That was prior.
Russell and the two offices, compliance and conservancy, said, okay, you have to do. So I submitted a letter to the previous chief, and I know others did too.
What we did is after the meeting on May 26th, we had everybody come in and I gave them a department letterhead statement. So you couldn't, there was two avenues that everybody discussed with me. One was charging them with vandalism, or two was everybody was gonna go civilly in a group and obtain legal services. I explained to everybody, fill out the statement and get it back to me, because one, your insurance company might get something back from your insurance company. They're gonna ask if you reported to the police. If you have the statement, you can give them the statement and we can back it up. But nobody bought the statement. I don't know.
What happened to the letters that we gave to the chief?
Sat right back there in that back office and
Yeah.
filed a police report.
See, and we don't have.
Back in April or March or whenever this
I
started.
wasn't here, I can't answer
Yeah,
that.
and our other chief, our prior chief is not here, and he's checked the records, and
She never filed a police report.
There's nothing that I can find in the records, other than something in our records management system from, Sol, Mrs. Sol.
Mrs. Lana,
Yeah.
she's the only one that filed an official complaint that I know of, that actually filed an official complaint. The others talked to the chief, and they may have submitted some type of statement to him, but they never followed through, according to her, and filed a complaint, an official complaint.
That's what you took me back there to do.
Well, you most certainly have the opportunity to get with him and do that, because you still can do that, but we, on the 26th, when we had a meeting with the residents, he met with them in his office. Some of them, he gave them all the paperwork, and as of right now, he's not received any paperwork back from anyone, is that
I've
correct?
not received any statements on official letterhead, which the residents will need, because if you want to turn over your insurance company, that's proof that you reported to the police department.
Well, at this point, I don't feel comfortable with putting my name on any type of paper, whether it be criminally or civilly, because I don't feel like it would be confidential at all, because we're all sitting here talking about it openly, what Holly's done. So, I don't, and it's recorded, and it's going on YouTube and anything else like that. So now my confidence is pretty much shattered in
That's
audio
totally
as
your
to
choice,
what.
totally your choice. It's totally your choice.
I know it's my choice, but absolutely everything's my choice. That's pretty much a moot point. But as I said to you just now, I don't feel comfortable that my information would be held
And
protected.
the thing you might not understand too, once you file a complaint with the police department and it's filed, it becomes right to know, and guess
It
what?
does become, you have to file a Freedom
Okay.
of Information Act to
Yeah,
get it, and
you
it
can
takes
get
some
it.
time and understandable that,
Yeah.
and only somebody that would know, be looking for that information, would be looking for that information.
Right.
This isn't my first time, so
Right.
I understand how this works.
Right.
So,
But we're just trying to give you the process. If you wanna file a complaint, you most certainly can file a complaint. You don't have to file a complaint, that's totally your call, what you wanna do, how you wanna handle this. If you wanna pay for it yourself, you most certainly can pay for it yourself. whatever you wanna do, because we as a township are gonna enforce our township ordinances, because that's what we're required to do. How you handle, dealing with it moving forward is totally an individual choice that you make, on your own. Chief?
What I'd like to explain is in a criminal matter, you're capable, you're allowed to file a complaint. If we charge the person via a criminal complaint and charge them with vandalism, we usually will put vandalism, criminal mischief, and disorderly conduct. And what happens is I'm gonna need the people who filed the complaint that wanted him charged to be at court. You have to testify to that fact. And it's not a threat or anything like that, I'm just saying that's the process. So,
So he could be charged
yes,
via you.
yes.
You need to fill out the statement, and then it goes from there.
Sherry Hansen, that's who gave me the card when I went back there and filed the complaint after the meeting.
So,
Started from scratch 6 months later.
So we need to get the form from you.
yes, statement.
Okay? Sorry about that, I'll say it's not fun to deal with, but it is an issue that we've been dealing with, and we will continue to deal with it as long as we need to get it resolved. Like I said, if you would like to meet with the enforcement officer and the engineer, chief, because he will be here again on June 17th, we're taking appointments for the whole day. Yeah, Carl.
In terms of getting answers, am I correct to say you all are not the answer people at this point?
That is correct.
And so, how do we make contact with those who are responsible?
You can still call into the township here, and if you have questions, like I said, they're gonna have a meeting set up. If you need additional meetings with those guys, we will make those arrangements where they can come here, to the township and meet with the individuals, and answer any questions they have. I don't know that they really said that they want, I don't even know if they've been fielding, emails at their offices or not. I don't know. That's not something I can answer, if they're responding that way or not. Do you guys know?
I would say that they are not, because if they were, they would be billing you directly. And in
Yeah.
order for the township to pay for their services, we're arranging it for you. We hired those companies, the board has appointed them as representatives. But if you went to them directly, they would probably be billing you directly, and I don't think you want that. You want it to be paid for by the township.
So the only interaction we're going to be able to establish is the meetings here.
Yes. That's what they prefer, that we set the meetings up here in our township.
If you want the payment to be fielded through the township,
Yeah.
you can contact them individually and they offer consultation services for a fee directly.
Right.
But if you're just trying to get it covered through the township, you will have to field it through the township so we can have the billing fielded through here.
And we need to contact you.
Yes, we're making the appointment.
Yeah, I'm making the appointments if you call it.
You can call during the normal business hours.
Appointments, is that individual?
Yes,
They're
I-
individual appointments, but we already have, we pick a date, so the next date is June 17th.
Yeah.
And they will be individual appointments or a group meeting?
No, they're individual appointments.
Yeah.
Can we set that up as a group meeting?
Why
No,
can't-
they have asked, they do not want to deal with the risk trail as a group because it's individual properties that were affected. They're dealing with them on an individual basis.
But there are general questions that apply to
Yes,
all of
we
us.
would rather have a group meeting.
I mean, the whole idea of Adam being the cause of this thing.
You know, what I would suggest, what I'll do is I will talk to both KPI and PMCA and ask them if they would be open enough to do group meetings. I don't know if they will or not, but I definitely pose the question to them.
And the reason for the group meeting is so that we can all understand what we're dealing with among ourselves.
Right.
They
And
are
come
here to
forth
represent
with,
the community. Why separate us?
That,
It just looks
they,
to me like
they did that because individual properties were affected. And you're responsible individually for your property owners. So what happens to Carl's property is not your concern at all, because if I understand Carl has, his property, he has quite a bit of property that was affected, and he's got quite a bit of an expense. And how he deals with that and how he handles that is totally his business. It's not your business or anybody else's business. It's totally his business.
right, but again, we have generalized questions that,
Yeah,
that
and
really
they can
apply
answer
to all
this
of us.
for you, yeah. They most certainly can answer
And
this for you.
for me, it doesn't make sense
Correct.
for us to sit individually when we have these questions that could be answered or not answered, whatever.
Well, I think what they want, what they've expressed is they don't want to get into a position where they're being attacked, because what happened in our last meeting, we did have some people, we had individual meetings set up with people, and it overlapped because of the time period, and then they had more than 2 or 3 people here, and they felt that they were being attacked, and they couldn't answer those questions because everything was coming at them, and there's like, we do not want to get into that type of format. They want to address your issues individually and how you can fix your issues, and instead of saying, well, I got this year and I got this. You all got the same issue as far as the stormwater management. You're in violation according to state ordinance. Not only state, it's township and county, it's state, county, and township ordinance that you're in violation of. Not of your doing. We totally acknowledge it's not your doing. But the thing is, when it was brought to our attention by the county, we're obligated to address it, and that's where we're at now.
So
We're
if you
trying
want
to
us
address
to meet
it.
with them individually, one-on-one with PNC or whoever, EPF, or whatever, but yet you told us that, you guys have gotten quotes from a contractor to do all this work, and each, I don't know, however many square footage of road frontage it was a quote of $5,000, and you need to get together with your neighbors, and you need to get together and talk to them and see which route you wanna go, but yet now you're telling us that we need to do this individually.
Well, the
not
thing is,
together.
you misinterpreted something. We didn't
Yeah.
tell you that we got a contract price. We did not. Mr. Geyer is an engineer for KPI. He does this all the time. He did an estimated charge of what it would cost for your individual property according to current cost. That's what he did. He didn't go out and get any prices from excavators or anything like that. He did it off of current state standards of what the price is per linear foot and the whole 9 yards. That's where he come up with that number. We didn't even come up with that number. That's a number that he come up with to give, because some of the residents expressed in emails that they would like to know some cost analysis of what they're looking at. So that's what he did. He did it off of what the prints are, and he factored in the cost of today's price, and that's how he came up with that price. You may find that you get a contractor and give you a cheaper price. Don't know. We can't guarantee it. Depends on who you decide to contract with. You may contract with someone and they'll give you a price that's 3 times that much. We have no control over the pricing of this at all. But I will speak to them about a group meeting and see what they say. Okay?
I have a stupid question.
No, you don't have a stupid question.
I was at this meeting with the community here, and some guy said, and he had lived here for many, many years, one of the first people there, that all these years, there was never a big problem with the storm management at all. So why is there a problem now? Because like this past winter, nothing really happened,
Well, what precipitated this whole thing, what's your name, I'm sorry? I didn't get your name.
It's Barb Johnson.
Barb Johnson, Barb. What precipitated this is a violation occurred. Everybody acknowledges that there was digging out there that was unauthorized digging. It was called into, the Department of Environmental Protection. Department of Environmental Protection went out and did an inspection. And then they notified the residents, they notified the township that there was a violation that needed to be corrected. They, upon DEP, is in charge of sediment and erosion control. That's all they are in charge of. They're not in charge of stormwater management whatsoever, just sediment and erosion control. So they gave, I guess, through talking, that was Rusty Ryan, would be who you was talking to at that time. Rusty Ryan gave the residents what they could do to fix the problem as far as DEP was concerned. He didn't give any direction on how you fix the problem with the stormwater. He got in touch with the township, said, listen, there's a violation, you need to handle it under your stormwater management. And that's where we're at.
Thank you. I've been gone, so.
No, that's totally fine.
And somebody asked about why is it happening now or just recently, I think maybe you that why all of a sudden there's stormwater issues.
Yes.
Well, one of the major reasons is because the state of Pennsylvania we had to adopt, every township in this state had to adopt the stormwater management program. Pennsylvania basically offered us a plan that they
did offer the plan.
Yeah, and probably 99% of the townships use that plan.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's just been in recent years, what, 2 years?
2012.
Oh, was it that long ago?
Yeah.
I thought it was
2012.
2012.
2012.
So, and you got different people sitting here, you know, so, and different people in different offices today, so it does evolve.
Yeah, and some of the things too is, and it's unfortunate, some of these issues were not, they might have been on the books, like a lot of laws are on the books, they don't get enforced, and then all of a sudden somebody's pushing it, and they're getting enforced.
That's right.
And there's where we're at today. We got notified from DEP and said, listen, you got a violation, you need to address it. Here we are, we're addressing it.
Thank you, that makes me understand it a lot.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, like I said, because we just citizens just like you guys, trying to take the leadership in the township and follow what the ordinances are in the township and enforcing those ordinances. We're not experts. I'm not an expert at all about stormwater management. I may have a little bit more knowledge than some because I'm the road master in Liberty Township, and I have been going to classes for the last 8 years and taking classes on not only stormwater management, but road maintenance management, and different aspects of how to run a township when it comes to, as far as roads. But that doesn't make me an expert just because I take the classes. Anyhow, we're just trying to do what we can do. And we really took this approach with this particular issue. We could have very easily said, listen, send them all violation notices. This is a violation, you got 90 days to fix it. It's your problem, it's not our problem, and washed our hands and left the violation. But we as a board said, hold on, these guys didn't do this. This is not something that they went out there and did. How can we help them to address this issue? And there's where we're at today. We, the whole time, have been trying to help the residents to address the issue that's before you and us. And we'll do whatever we can to try to help you do it. We're not trying to get into a confrontation or to a battle with you guys at all, but to help you get in compliance with the stormwater management of the state of Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
That's what we're trying to do. So I hope you guys don't take it that we're the bad guys and we're trying to make you do something because we don't like you. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with we're put in a position as township officials to enforce the laws of the township, to enforce the laws of the state of Pennsylvania, and to enforce the laws of the federal government. That's our job. So there's where we're at today. Yeah, Carl.
I guess the thing that I'm not feeling, and I don't know whether the rest are not feeling, I'm not feeling any help yet.
Well, we're trying. We're trying to do the best we can do.
Well, but communication is not good, okay?
Well, we've been trying to figure that out, how to deal with that, because one of the issues that we're finding too, Carl, that we're having, if we have residents in the township that own properties on this particular roads that are affected, that we can't get in touch with. They're not responding back to our calls, they're not responding back to our emails, they're not responding back to our letters that we're sending out, because we have, some of them are out of state, and some of them I just don't know why they're not responding, they're just not responding. What we're gonna have to do by law is we'll have to violate it. If you're not gonna respond, then we'll have to violate it and go that direction on fixing the problem.
Well, that's a good point. In terms, we didn't do anything. We didn't do any violation. We haven't created anything. So, where is the board here? Are you saying to the other agencies, these people didn't do this?
Yeah.
And we're going to have to come up with a, because I'm looking at what the engineer said, $60,000.
Yes, I remember that. How's that going here?
Yeah, I have no idea where I'm gonna come up with $60,000 for something that I didn't do. So, and we need to see better communication. And maybe there are communications people here who could help with communication. I don't want it to evolve into an us versus you,
Right.
because nothing's going to be,
Right.
nobody's going to benefit from that.
Right, that's
But
right.
I'm willing to give time or whatever to help. Now, again, citizen involvement in your business is our business.
Yeah, it is.
And so I think maybe we need to be looking at the community and what we can bring to it. And I know that creates layers, and is not gonna make anything simple.
Right.
But I need to feel that I'm connected, and I don't feel connected because some of the communications that you mentioned, who got something from EPA?
From who?
That would have came from the Adams County.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with it. That comes
Rusty
from
Ryan of the
That's-
EPA, he's a DEP.
the
not
DEP, the Environmental Protection and DEP. That's where your first, I believe that's where your first violation came from, was from, the Department of Environmental Protection, for setting the erosion control.
The
It came
first
under-
communication I
Rusty
got was
Ryan?
from
It came under
compliance.
ACC, the Adams County Conservation District is a branch of the DEP.
But, who's in compliance before the gentleman who is?
I'm sorry.
Rusty
Rusty
with
Ryan.
Is it Rusty with Conservancy?
Yeah, he's with the Adams County Conservation District.
All right.
Yes, which is a North
But
branch
there's
of
another
Environmental
guy
Protection.
who sent a letter from compliance, which said, and that was the first communication that I got, and it said you're in violation.
That
Okay.
might have been, not KPI.
Russell?
PMCA
Yes.
had a fellow working for them, he was the enforcement officer for them at the time. He has since quit. Which, that's, yeah, he quit, he sent out the initial letters, as far as the stormwater, and then he quit PMCA, which is someone that we hire, so we have no control. Now, the owner of PMCA took over the enforcement part, so that's who you're dealing with now, is Clinton Lapp. He is the actual owner of PMCA.
He's the,
He's the owner of the Pennsylvania Municipal Authority. And he's the one you met with, here on the 26th of May.
sitting
He was here. But yeah, let's, like I said, we as a board have instructed them, because they were at the point, the way they normally handle things when they're in violation, they'd send out a notice of what they did, letting you know that you were in violation, and then there's this, I don't know what the time frame, if it's 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, to comply to the notice and to come into compliance. What we did is the board said, hold on, with these violations and finding these people. Let's try to work this out and let them figure out how they want to address this, because none of them's going to be able to come into compliance in 90 days. I don't care who you are. I mean, you got turned in, like you said, you got this letter saying that you're in violation of $60,000 worth of stormwater damage to your property. Well, how are you going to come up with $60,000 in 90 days? You got to figure out how you're going to do this. So the board has instructed them to hold off on fining anyone at all. We have not given them any instructions going forward to restart the violation process and being in non-compliance and then be fined. We're still trying to work this whole thing out and how we're going to address it. It could take, I'm suspecting this is going to take months, if not a year. I'm not going to say a year because I don't know. I just don't know how this is going to go out. We're not telling them to fine you at all, because I don't even know what the statute is, what the stipulation on how much the fine's going to be. I don't know what they are. I don't know if it's $1,000 a day, $10,000 a day. I don't have a clue.
Well, the letter from PMCA said it was $1,000 a day, and that was months ago. And my first communication from the Adams County Conservation District was February 28th, advising me that I had 7 days to come into compliance, and otherwise I would be fined with $1,000 per day per violation, which there's 2 of them here. And then they're saying that I had to go down and put grass seed and hay down.
Yes, that came from the conservation district.
Yes, Russell Ryan.
Yes.
So I would like to point out that this has been handled extremely poorly.
Well,
through all of
unfortunately,
these,
we
through all,
don't
I'm
have-
not finished. Through all of these agencies. So we have the Adams County Conservation District, we have PMCA, we have Liberty Township Engineer, who all have been telling us different things as to how we need to come into compliance. And then when we had our meeting last May, whatever, you said, dig a ditch, put a pipe, whatever.
Yep.
So which is it putting down hay and straw and
No,
grass?
no.
Or
So
is it
you
putting
got
the
two
pipes
things
down?
confused here. You got a violation from DEP, the Environmental Protection. We have nothing to do with that. Nothing. We're stormwater. So if you still have a problem with DEP, you need to go back to DEP. Because my understanding with Rusty Ryan in, if you put the sediment control, then you're done. He's done. Did he send you a letter?
Yeah. And,
Did he send you a letter saying you was in compliance?
Not that I was in compliance. I have an email from him saying that I am no longer a part of any of this because I told
Okay,
him I'm not.
then he's saying you're in compliance. But again, that has nothing to do with us. Nothing. Zero. We have no enforcement power under DEP or the land conservation. Zero. We are just addressing stormwater. And what we have done is we have withheld $1,000 a day to give you an opportunity to fix this. And we're still trying to work through this. If you do not want to, just let us know and we'll tell the zoning officer, start fining her $1,000 a day. That's totally up to you. We're trying to work this out that it doesn't cost you this. The only thing I can say at this point, if you don't agree, we're not handling things right, you can get an attorney and you can address it through that way, which is not going to help anyone either. We're really trying to work with the residents. We didn't go out there and dig up your rate.
No, sure didn't.
Well, the other thing that's involved here is, and I think some people are looking over this, is the fact that we got a lot of time and money and energy, people putting together the meetings for everybody. Then we got professional fees, over $100 an hour for those guys to sit there and talk to you. We're absorbing that. So we are trying to help. We're doing what we can. Our hands are tied. We can only go so far legally with certain matters. So, we've done what we can. We're sitting up here trying to make this right as we can to help you. And that's where it's at. That's where I see it. You guys need to collectively get together. Personally, whether I go on record or off record, I don't really care. I think it would be advantageous for all of you to come in here and really sit down and have a meeting individually again with these guys And then all of you guys get together and collectively meet at somebody's house and say, now, this is what I got, this is what they told me, what they tell you, and figure out a plan. You know, collectively, you're going to get better pricing on certain things, I would assume. So if it comes down to that. So, you know, we've talked about this, and that's the direction, the best direction we saw as supervisors and township leaders to go for our community.
Yeah, because we just can't wave along and say, we're not gonna address this. We can't do that. The state has said, you have to address this. That's where we're at. So we have to enforce the ordinance, period. And we just can't go back and make a motion and abolish the ordinance, because it's not our ordinance, it's a state ordinance. So how we address that, we're open to ideas, but at the end of the day, because you're living in private development, we can't come in there and use tax dollars, and I think that's where you're going, and where you'd like to see it go, and I understand that. If I was living there, I'd probably have the same feeling. That, you know, I'm paying taxes, I want my tax dollars to fix this. We cannot fix private roads. It doesn't matter if it's Swiss Trail, it doesn't matter if it's Stoops, or any road that is a private road cannot, by law, be used for tax dollars cannot be used to address them, period. That's not a township law, that is a state law. Yes, sir.
Can we change it into not a private road and make it?
They ain't gonna ever happen. I'm sorry, it won't ever happen, because for it to happen, there's two things that have to happen. Because this is one thing that I thought would like to have seen happen back in 2014, and I looked into this. To make that happen, you have to first off bring your roads up to state standards, not just your ditches, the entire road, not part of the development, the entire development. And to do that, you're talking millions and millions of dollars, and then the process is you have to petition the township with every single person that owns land in that development has to sign a petition saying that they want to turn it over to the township, and the township has to agree. The problem I've had in the past, because I did get a petition for another, because your guys' development is not the only private development we have in Liberty Township. We have another one in Liberty Township, and we addressed that in 2016. The landowners in there drew up a petition to have us adopt their roads, and their roads, not like yours, met state standard. They absolutely ditching, and the width of the road met state standards. When they went down to get their residents in there to sign, all of them signed except 2. State law says they all have to sign. So, because they held out, 2 people said, no, I don't want you guys in here plowing my roads or doing anything on my roads. The rest of the people didn't get the service. And that development is still sitting today because 2 people held out. So you have to get everybody.
You can't even reach all the people.
Exactly right. People come in from all over the country and bought in there, and they won't even reach back to you. They don't even contact you. That's the problem. So, I'm sorry that this is where we're at. Like I said, we'll keep trying to work with you guys to try to resolve this problem as best we can. You know, we're trying to communicate that you can come to the monthly meetings and we'll address them here, but we're trying to work through this process. We really are. And now we're going to move on to, unless anybody else has any other comments, we're going to move on to the rest of the agenda. All right. Sorry, thanks again for coming out and giving us the opportunity to at least talk to you about some of this. All right, any supervisor comments? No comments? Okay. Did everyone get a chance to review the May 7th, 2024 regular meetings minutes?
Yep. I make a motion we approve them.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, how about the treasurer's report for, May the 2024? They want to review the report that the secretary treasurer has presented to you.
Yes, and I make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
I'll second it.
Thank you for saying it, all in favor? Aye. Hold on, I gotta get ahead there. The next is the payroll. Oh yeah, sorry about that. The invoices, everyone have an opportunity to review the invoices.
Yep.
All right, the invoices for May, 8th, 2024 through 6/4/24. Do I have a motion to pay the invoices as presented?
Make a motion to approve the invoices.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we have payroll from 5/5/24 to 5/18/24. Everyone have an opportunity to review that.
Yep.
Yes.
Do I have a motion from Mr. Rowe to approve it? He reviewed it.
Yes, I make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
5/19/24 to 6/1/24. I'll make a motion to approve that as presented. I reviewed it and approved it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, well, we all at 9 township reports. Chief?
Good evening. The monthly report for the Liberty Township Police Department is as follows. For Liberty Township, there was 92 hours worked. There was 391 miles patrolled. Selective enforcement details were 3. The fuel that was used was 42 gallons, and there were 7, and we have not received the PSP data yet, Pennsylvania State Police data. What was the one we were on duty. For Freedom Township, it was 35 hours worked, 4 selective enforcement details, 2 911 incidents, and 4 warnings. And Highland Township was 25 hours worked, 3 selective enforcement details, 2 911 incidents, and 4 warnings. All body camera footage over 60 days old has been deleted. I have no further, sir.
When you say selective enforcement, what are you talking about?
It's traffic details, sitting on the side monitoring traffic and stopping for violations.
Anyone else have any questions for the chief?
No, that was mine.
Okay. All right, zoning. So the zoning, we had, 1, 2, 3, 4 permits that were put into zoning for a total of $400. That's all we had as far as activities for permits. Then we have, violations, maybe you saw some of the, violations, that were ongoing, that was presented to you in your packet. There's still some violations that they gave us a list of all the addresses. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna read them out loud here. If you reviewed them, I'll just let you know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 violations. Okay. All right. Now, one of the violations that we have is on property, 25AA0-0050-000. It's the Campbell residence from 7 Rich Trail. Recent stormwater inspection was done. Myself and Brandon Geyer went out to the property and ran and reviewed the property and the pipe that's installed along that property line. And so we're going to approve her to be in compliant at this time and be withdrawn from consideration and violation notice that was sent out to the Rest Trail areas. She has a 12-inch pipe along the roadway that is underground the whole length of her pipe, her property that upon inspection was clear, non-damaged, and was seen to be able to, at this point in time, handle water coming under her, on her property. The only thing Mr. Goddard, the engineer, has suggested that we put in the approval for her to be removed is that any prior or any other point in time in the future, if the pipe becomes damaged, clogged, then you have to bring it up. If it fails at any point in time, it has to be brought up to the state and the township ordinance compliance of 15 inches versus the 12 inches that you have. That's the motion I'm going to make tonight, under the recommendations of our stormwater engineer, is that we release her and her husband from being involved in the stormwater violations at this time.
I'll second
All in favor?
it. Aye.
And we will send you a letter to that effect. All right, the next thing on the agenda tonight is the road department. The road department drove 64.7 miles for the month of May. 50.6 gallons of fuel was used in the gas truck, 25.1 gallons of diesel for on-road diesel, and 53 gallons of off-road diesel was used in the old yellow truck. Of course, some of the things that were done this past month of May is we did go out and cut 13 crossover pipes on Bullfrog Road. That road has been now cut to depth. We ordered 400 feet of stormwater pipe from 18 inches, 200 feet of 18 inch, 200 feet of 24 inch stormwater pipe to replace the current stormwater pipe that's been in the ground there for more than 40 years, which is all concrete pipe. So we're upgrading the pipe for future stormwater management issues that may come, because we can't predict what's going to happen 20 years from now as far as stormwater and how much water it's going to take. But I did get with the engineer, and he predicted that these pipe sizes should be sufficient for at least the next 25 years.
When you up the size?
We're up the size, everything's been upgraded from, all our pipes across our roadways were 15-inch pipes. So now they're all being upgraded to 18 and 24-inch pipes to handle the water that we have seen over the past few years. I know this past year we had another one of those 100-year floods in Adams County, particularly Liberty Township was hit 4 times with water that we normally would not see in our township. So these are things that we're doing to try to address the stormwater issues that we have not only in you guys' area but throughout the whole entire township. So anyhow, those roads have been cut, and we will start working on those pipe replacements as we're able to do so in the near future. Some of the other things we did, as you just heard, we did have bids go out for full depth reclamation. So I'm anticipating that they will schedule sometime in July or August to do a total reclaim on Bullfrog Road from the township line, which is the Hamilton Bend line, to just below Stoops Road. That's 2,400 feet. That's phase 1 of Bullfrog Road this year. We're anticipating, hopefully, if our budget will allow us, to do phase 2 in 2025, and then finish it off in phase 3 in 2026 to do a total depth reclamation of Bullfrog Road over the next 3 years. Of course, you just heard what the price is, $172,000 for 2,400 feet. And it only will go up in price as the years go by. But we are trying to address that road, particularly because it's one of the roads that's most traveled in our township and has more traffic on it than any other road. But that doesn't mean that we've given up on the other roads too. We do have some other roads that we're addressing in the township. Girl Scout Road, we had done some ditching work in the month of April, and I have Dirt and Gravel Road from Adams County Conservation District supposed to be coming out sometime in June. to do an evaluation on that road. Hopefully it will fall into some grant money that we can address, that particular road, moving forward. Because we just don't have it in our budget to hit every road we need to hit. But then what we can do, is a year goes by, we still have the other roads that we must, maintain and do, maintenance on each year also. One of the things too, the board, our board packet here tonight is, we had our flail mower, which is the one we use to mow along our roads, was involved in an accident, in May. I just got the estimated bill today just to do the repair work for that, almost $12,000. So our mower is out of service at this point in time. Unfortunately, when accidents happen, thank God we have insurance, so insurance hopefully will cover the majority of the cost, but unfortunately they're not going to be able to get to it in a week or two. They're telling me it could be as much as a month to 6 weeks before we get our mower back. If that's the case, we will have to reach out, and I have already reached out to neighboring townships to get assistance. Hopefully that we can either borrow their mower or borrow their services to help us mow, because I looked into renting a mower for a month. It's $8,000 to rent one, which is not really budgeted in our budget to do so. So hopefully we'll get some assistance from our neighboring townships with that. No, that's about what I have for the road department. As far as that, I do have proposals in front of the road department for this is only an estimated price. We would have to bid this out if we want to go this direction. For 13 pipe replacements across our township roads on Bullfrog, with our current manpower and we do not have the equipment. We have to rent all the equipment and everything to get this done and done efficiently. One of the options is to bid it out. So I got bids from 2 different contractors, one being AAA Paving on Mitchell Gap Road and another from New Enterprise. To do the pipe replacement, we supply the pipe. We've already cut the road, but to replace that pipe and to do the excavating work is $32,042 was the one estimated price. The other price from New Enterprise, including all the material, was between $40,000 and $50,000. He just gave me that price tonight. So that is for the board's consideration if they want to go that direction. We can do that, but we would have to advertise it prior to. We'd have to advertise it for bid. These are only preliminary estimates that were given by these particular contractors. All right. Anyone have any comments on the pipe replacement, bidding it out or doing it in-house?
I do got a question about it too. Are any of these, some of these are in that section that's gonna get repaved, right?
Only one piece, one pipe.
Only one pipe? Okay. So it
And
would
what I have suggested to the contractors when I talk to them is we would probably take care of that one particular pipe, because we have some other work in other parts of the township that we had cut and we need to do base repair on, so we'll have the equipment here to do that work, so at the same time we could replace that pipe. Plus, we did have a mutual agreement with Freedom Township. We cut a pipe on the Glockman Road in Freedom Township, so it's we do the labor for them, and then they help us in another direction, like mowing. We borrow their mower, we dig their hole, we borrow their mower, type of swap. That's kind of the only other things. So anyhow, that's one of the options. So the next thing you have in front of you here is the Stevens equipment appraisal for that just for the damaged part of the mower. This does not include what we was already getting serviced. Was presented to get serviced by Atlantic Tractor for the fuel leak on the dried out fuel line. This is only damage to the mower, less than $663.92. It's $11,065.27. Need to make an motion for us. Even we are going to turn this into the insurance company. but I'm gonna make a motion tonight that we move forward, with the repair of the mower, unless you guys have another option.
No, I'll second that motion and get it going.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'll contact them tomorrow and let them know that they can go ahead and start, the repairs on that, and then Wendy will file a complaint, the claim with the insurance company, with the estimate, because that's what we were waiting on, was the estimate.
Nick, with the cross river pipe, we have to make a motion for
No, we don't have to make a motion tonight unless you guys want to make a motion to go forward with doing the,
the advertising.
advertisement. You wanna advertise this out, we'll do it in-house.
For what?
You wanna advertise and put this out for bid on pipe replacement, or you wanna do it in-house?
I was under the impression we were doing it in-house. Does Bruce have a problem with that?
It's not something I'm gonna discuss here this meeting.
Okay.
I'll look for that.
We have to look at our labor force and what we have and the availability of our labor force. We've cut the roads are all cut. For us to do this in-house, we have to shut down Bullfrog Road.
Right, we talked
We
about
have
that.
to rent signage out there, because we do not have the signage, to shut down that road. And then, it's been brought to my attention by the State Department of Transportation, that for us to shut down Bullfrog Road, we have to have a pipe, we must have a plate, that will carry a vehicle that needs to get across into emergency situations. We do not have a plate. I did put out, a contact to see what a plate would cost. It's a 4x10 by 1 inch plate. I don't know what it's gonna cost. I haven't been successful in finding one in another township to loan it to us, so if we're gonna do the work, we have to take the safety precautions too, and
Yeah.
so that's, be considered too.
I say we advertise it, that's what I think.
Well, we have to look at our budget, if we have it in the budget to advertise and do the work, it's something that wasn't budgeted,
Yeah.
okay, that.
I mean, as long as the one that's definitely replaced that, where you're putting the new road, so
Yeah.
that's the main one we need to worry about.
Oh, yeah, we have to have that pipe has to be replaced before they put that new road down, because once they put that new road down, you definitely ain't tearing up a $172,000 road for a pipe.
Exactly.
It ain't happening.
Well,
No, that's my whole thing is, if we're gonna spend $600,000, $1 million on the road, we need to upgrade the road
Yep.
to current standards.
Well, you see the state doing that everywhere, getting rid of the concrete pipes.
State's tearing all the concrete
Yeah.
pipes out because, they're just going away from concrete altogether. Cause there's, concrete pipes are all 8-foot pieces, they're belled together, and the bells are cracking and falling apart, all across the state. And then what happens when you have a bell problem? We had that happening on Glad Hill this past year on us. It was not an expected repair. The bell cracked in the middle of the road, and the road caved in, and we had to do an emergency repair at that point in time. Fortunately, we were fortunate enough that the blacktop plant was operating because our weather, what the weather was, that we were able to get blacktop to put in that hole. If not, we would have been sitting here with stone in it for the whole winter. But, anyhow. We can put it out for bid and see what the actual bids come back, because these are not actual bids, these are just estimated bids. But that's totally up to you guys.
Well, we can always put it out for bid.
We have to advertise it and put it, we do have to advertise it, and, we have the cost of advertising it. And any bids, in case you guys are not familiar with somehow this bids, any bids that we get in, we do not have to accept it. I mean, we can get bids in, we can put bids out all day long, and there's more than we can afford, we just reject the bids. That's just the process. But the process is, to get an official bid from a contractor, you have to advertise it for everyone to put in, to do the bid. And you have an opportunity to get them.
I think that's, what, $150 to advertise?
Depends, some of the bids go as much as 600.
let's just look at the bids we just did, I just paid that bill. So. Eight A, what'll be the next?
Well, at any rate, I think it'd be worth advertising.
Well, one thing we can advertise, the pipe, job, because I think we're gonna have to re-advertise the bridge. Because my conversation with Lee Lobar, today, cause I called them when I didn't get a bid from them, cause they are the bridge people in Adams County mainly, and I asked them straight out, I said, I'm surprised we sent you the bid back, and I didn't get a bid back from you guys at all. Can I ask you why? And the guy that does most of the bids in this area, he goes, because I never received it. It went to someone else in their office, and
Never saw it.
they never saw it. See,
It's $200, by the way.
200.
No.
All right, so you got a
So
motion.
if we redo the other bid, that's 200, and then if you wanna advertise pipes, it's 200. And that's advertising it 2 times, so it's like 100 times, $100 each time,
Right.
because we have to advertise twice.
So you gonna make a motion to put it out for bid? Is that what you're doing?
So we're,
No, that's what it was, right? You going?
yeah.
You want to put it
Okay.
out to bid?
And I'll second it.
So he's
Okay,
second.
great.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are we also re-advertising the other bid?
You're gonna re-advertise the bridge,
Yep.
because Lobar said they did not, well, it didn't get to the proper people.
Right, okay, so
I know we sent it, because we verified that today, that we sent it.
Mr. Kai holds all to bid out the pipe work, and then for the re-advertisement of, Old Waynesboro, because previously you didn't say that, you said you just weren't.
Do you
gonna
need a
do it.
separate motion for Old
I
Waynes?
do need a separate motion.
Yeah.
I make a motion that
Thank
we
you.
rebid
Old
the bridge,
Waynesboro.
Old Waynesboro Road, the bridge
Okay.
project.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, finished, thank you.
Okay. All right, 9, Planning Commission, I acknowledge and request for an additional time for review.
Judy's here.
Judy, you're up.
You missed me.
No, I didn't miss you, I was just, that's part of your thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
So the planning commission did meet in May, and the primary thing that we reviewed was the Goldenwood Kennel Site Development Plan that was resubmitted on 4/11/24. This still had a number of editorial printed errors, things like the handicap parking spaces were not measured out, they just like all the same. And then Dominic had some questions about, they have a shared secondary driveway.
I read that today.
And, that he said there should be an agreement in writing, and he also recommended that confirm with the zoning officer whether the driveway is an existing non-conformity and what the paving standards are, because he felt it may even need to be paved as a commercial road. I have Andrew's report back to the committee because we're gonna look at this again at the June meeting, which I believe is the 18th, and he did not mention this issue at all. So I will either call him and see if I need clarification, or I'll ask him to attend our June meeting.
Judy, I don't mean to interrupt, but I received communication regarding that, and I can forward that to you. Brandon and, Dominic and Andrew have been speaking about that particular
Okay.
issue. I'll make sure you get that information.
Okay,
for the minute.
thanks. So that has been, tabled to July 18th, and we're hoping that we're going to, have a completed packet that we can recommend approval to the supervisors at their July meeting. There are 3 requests for extension of times. One is from the Goldenwood Development Plan, and that would be a request for a 45-day extension to July 24. The board did recommend that the supervisors approve that. We also have one from the Greater Mountain Complex Land Development requesting another 45 days to July 24, and the plan recommend the supervisors approve that. The Monastery of Jesus, Mary and Joseph subdivision request came in after the planning commission meeting, so the planning commission has not seen this. My only question about this plan is that it we're like 2 years, 3 years into this whole plan?
Yes,
And,
at least two. So you're probably more correct, closer to three.
yeah, and, I mean, how long have we been on like this? I don't know.
Judy, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think that you have a valid point, and since this is a joint plan with another township, that's probably something we need to, maybe the two planning commissions could get together and discuss with the two boards.
Yeah, because actually, all the original building was supposed to be done in Hamilton Bay. Liberty Township was dealing with sewage enforcement. And what happened was is that the organization went ahead and built new buildings, guest houses, ice house, blah, blah, blah. And that changed the whole sewage development. So basically, and then I haven't been up there, but someone said they took the barn, the original barn that was on the property that is in Liberty Township, and they've converted that into a residence.
Yes, you did. Without,
We're referring that to the supervisor.
I'll refer that to GMCA for enforcement, because that's the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
If they turn that barn into a private residence with no permits, then that's a violation of the ordinance. Because they already have a house sitting there. You can't have two houses sitting on one property.
Exactly, not in the same township.
Right. Okay,
I'm sorry. We're doing our best.
just don't get a break. Okay, are you done?
I am done.
Thank you. I want to ask you a question as far as this particular driveway, the secondary driveway that you're asking about. That driveway is on private lane, if I'm correct.
That's
That
correct.
one that goes down by the turkey barns.
That's correct.
And that comes off of a state road.
That's correct.
So the township has no authority
Okay.
on that, correct? Doesn't the state have to give occupancy permits, the HOPs permits for anything that adjoins state road? That's my understanding.
I believe that's true.
I have a lot of information that I can distribute to you that regarding, it has to do with the land development plan itself, it has to do with the special exception itself and the requirements of the driveway according to the ordinance. Not exactly what you're talking about, which is a highway occupancy permit and a driveway permit. So I will make sure that the board gets that and that the planning commission get that information that was occurring between the zoning officer and the engineer.
Yeah, because if they're planning on blacktop in that private driveway,
Well, they don't want to.
but if that's what they're saying, that's gotta happen, that's gonna have to go through an HOP. I know that for a fact.
I think they don't want to do it, but I will send that information to the board and the planning commission for at least you, Judy, and then you can look at that.
Okay.
And I believe that also, the parking also falls under that HOP.
The what?
That
Parking?
the parking, what they require, because anytime the state gets involved in a state road, then anything entering, exiting a state road is, from the training classes I took, the state has to be involved in all that. They determine how much access comes in and off of that road, out of that particular
But they're
business.
not new roads.
I know,
Okay.
but it's a new business and you're upgrading the business.
That's true.
They're going from a little small private dog kennel to a corporate dog kennel,
That's right.
which may be better for us because we like them. Okay, all right, so I'll make a motion that we give Raven Rock the additional 45-day extension. Do I have a second on that?
Yeah.
All in favor? I'll also make a motion that we give the 45-day extension to the Golden Woods Land Development Plan. A second on that?
I'll second it.
Aye.
Make a motion for the Monastery Jesus of Mary Joseph subdivision land development plan combination review for Hamilton Township, the 120-day, they want a 120-day extension?
They don't, yeah, well, they keep getting on it, and like I said before, that this is becoming an issue, that this should be a discussion with Hamilton Band, how we need to handle this, because if they grant it, we have to grant it, so we need to come to terms.
Yes.
So you made a motion,
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Secretary's report.
I have no report.
Old business, consider collective options for the judgment against First Response Emergency Lighting LLC. We had an executive session here on, I don't have the date written down. Do you have the date by chance, Wendy?
I did not have that.
Let's see, what's that coming?
What day of the week was it?
It was a Tuesday. Can you flip to May?
May 28th, right?
Yeah, I think it's right. I think it's May 28th.
May 28th is
Oh,
a
Tuesday was the day after Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Day after Memorial Day.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the day we had the doors up, right?
No, that
So it
was a
wasn't
week
that
prior
day.
to that.
Week prior to that would have been the 21st.
May the 21st, we had an executive session to meet with, let me find it.
You got it.
I got it in here somewhere. With legal counsel, Duffless, Hawcost, and Murphy, law firm out of Camp Hill, to take corrective actions against first response emergency lighting for the judgment that we received from the courts to collect the debt owed to the township. Myself and Bobby was able to meet with them. They agreed, they looked over the judgment that we had, and they agreed that they would move forward with this once we had our meeting and appointed them as the solicitors to handle this particular case. So I make a motion that we appoint them to move forward with first response emergency lighting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Uh,
Okay. Public comment under new business. Anyone see anything under new business you'd like to make comment on?
Mr. Barlow,
Yes, ma'am.
could I just go back to, planning commission?
Sure.
Did I understand that you would refer the issue of the house on the Mary and Joseph subdivision? I'm not the Catholic, I didn't get it. To the zoning officer?
What I made a motion on, Judy,
No, you
was.
didn't make it in a motion.
Huh?
No, you just mentioned that.
Yeah, I made the motion, for the 120 days. I did not make a motion on the violation that you just brought to our attention, because it's not on the agenda.
Right.
So I will contact them tomorrow. No motion is needed that I believe for us to send the zoning officer out to do an inspection of the property and find if they're in violation, report back to the township. And if in fact they're in violation, then we'll take the appropriate actions. No comments on the new business, we'll move on to the new business. Consider a motion to award the copy contract. Wendy, got some contracts, pricing for the copier, and Wendy has decided, after she reviewed those things, that she liked the ones that we had, and she would like to keep the current, copy contract that we have. Does anyone have any objections to her keeping the contract that we currently have?
No, that's fine with me.
So I'll make a motion that we continue with, I think you say Dacia is the copier, provider for us, for the next, whatever the term of the contract is.
5 years.
5 years.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, consider a motion for non-objections to the tax claim sales of the property at 14 Colley Lane is free and clear of all liens. Anyone have any objections to that? I make a motion that we notify them we have no objections.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, C is consider a motion to advertise for a full-time police officer for Liberty Township.
I'll make a motion that we advertise.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Gentlemen, if nothing else, then I'm gonna make a motion for adjournment.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you guys, we appreciate it. Like I said, if you guys want to, come back in on the 17th, just call in, and Hannah is making, taking, time slots, to come in and talk to these guys and see what we're doing from there.